And so my question today was, I always seem to wreck myself doing laundry. Is there anything that can help? And it's amazing how much I hear variations of that question. Because if laundry is something that you dread because it causes you problems, you can absolutely do something to make that better. If you just don't like doing laundry, that would be my husband. This is not going to help you enjoy it more, but it will help it make it easier on your body so that you have less pain and you don't struggle so much with doing it. I know there's a lot of strength issues that come with it, and I'm going to give you some tricks that are going to make that a lot easier. So to start with, we're going to start talking about baskets. Now, these are some that I have, and if you'll notice, they've got handles on them. They're wide handles, they're not really narrow, and it should be a comfortable distance for you. Now, laundry baskets and hampers come in a lot of different shapes, sizes, bags, and you have to find something that works for you and your setup. Not everybody has a room where they get to do laundry, and so you have to kind of make that work. But a couple things to keep in mind. If you have a really big basket, you can fill it really heavy, you can fill it really full, and it makes it really heavy. And that's going to be a bigger struggle for you. You're better off to use something a little bit smaller so you're not tempted to put everything in it and make more trips. Now, I have people who struggle if your laundry is downstairs and you have to go up and downstairs, and the idea of making more trips is worse. Those are situations where you might want to consider a bag or something that you can actually toss down the stairs and kind of collect at the bottom so you're not having to carry it back and forth. Now, when you look at going back up the stairs, then that's a little bit different and you have to look at your situation. But having something that is easier to hold and not so heavy is going to be better. The other thing you can do, depending on your setup, is if you have somebody who can help you with certain parts, designate those parts. And a lot of times that can be super easy. It can be something as simple as having your spouse, your roommate, your one of your kids bring the basket upstairs for you. It can be something where you have everybody take their own laundry down. And so look at those easy solutions first before you look at changing the setup you have. Now, one of the biggest things that I see is for dryers and then front load washers is a lot of them are down closer to the floor. Now, if you're somebody who has pedestals and you're up at a good ergonomic height, great. But if you're not, you want to make sure that you are doing getting down as easy as possible. So first things first, you want to put your laundry close to where you need to have it to go. So for me, I am going to take this and kind of do my squat to the floor and put it on the floor so it's closest to my front load washer. Now, I have had people who leave it on top because it's easier to put on top, but then you're having to bend down and put things in. That is tough. That's a lot of hard movement on your back, and that is not going to make things easier. So start with your laundry as close to the opening as you can. Now, I'm going to show you front load and then we'll do top load. So my setup, as you can see, not ideal. You know, it would be much better if my doors opened where this went the other way and they faced each other, but they don't. I can't change them, so we're gonna work around what we have. Now, for my situation, I'm gonna wanna go on the other side to be able to put it in. Otherwise, if I stay on this side, I'm gonna be fighting with the door. So, my options, the easiest one is actually to drop down onto one knee, because this allows you to be able to move things in fairly conveniently. You are also more stable. Now, a lot of hypermobile people can squat fairly easily. If this is a good position for you, you can use it. If you're stable, you know, with hypermobility, you got to take the benefits that you get. So this is one of them. There's a lot of people that can't do full squats like this. So if you can and you're comfortable, then there's no reason why you can't adjust yourself to where you are facing the washer and you want to make it as close of a movement as possible. If you can't do this position, don't. You know, try that half kneel. What you want to be careful about doing, and what a lot of people do, is do the sustained bending forward. Now my back is holding me up, and now I've created this pivot where I'm rotating at my back, and my low back is going to have a problem with that. So make that adjustment. Now, if you have a top load, you're going to want to have your basket sitting on top close to where you want to put it. So then you can face and put one thing into the other. And you just want to weight shift. So you want to grab it, put it in. The reverse. Top loads are harder, mostly because you have to reach down and in to get things out to put them into the next piece. Now, when you have to transfer from a top load into a dryer, I will tell you, you're gonna have to be careful, but you wanna use a split stance. Because you have to bend down and in, you wanna actually block your knee on the washing machine, on the front of the washing machine, because that's gonna give you leverage to be able to bend from your hips. And so you're almost gonna think about sticking your butt out, and it makes you actually fairly solid. Now, as you come back up, so if I'm grabbing something in, then you want to use your glutes to lift you back up. You are going to want to have a middle step, which means I don't want to take this and then try and reach over here to put it in my dryer, which apparently needs to be emptied. So, you're going to want to bring stuff up, put it in your basket, and then take your basket, put that on the floor, and do the same thing that we did with the washer. Where you're getting down, it's a closer movement. Wet laundry is heavier than dry laundry. It has that water in it. So it's more of a challenge to try and pull from your washer and put it into your dryer than it was to do it while it was dry. So remember that. Use a basket, move it that way. Now, and then same thing when you take it out of the dryer. You're going to want to use that split stance. You're going to want to be able to pull things out or do that full squat. If you remember from my previous videos, that getting up and down off the floor, if that is a problem for you, you know, you want to practice that. If that's something that your knees are not going to let you do, that's just not going to be an option for you, use a small stool. Because if you've got a small stool, we'll see if this one will work, where you can sit. Now I'm still closer to my dryer. I can still reach and move, and it's not as much force on my back. You know, do you have to get a stool and move a stool around? Yes. Is it another step? Yes. But if it's something that really bothers you physically, it's worth it. So make sure that if you need it, that you're using it and you have something that will work for you for that. Now, folding. I hear lots of complaints about folding, arm position, my shoulders hurt, all the stuff. So I wanted to show you a couple of things like that. Now, one thing I'll use is you want to start with a good position. So what that means is you want to have things set up so that it's a good height for you, so that you're not having to do big movements with your arms. Now, if we're talking about folding clothes, do my son's here, a couple of things not to do, okay? Do the neck hold. It's like having an extra hand. I have done that variation for years. It is great. It is hard on your neck. If your neck doesn't bother you, it's not an issue, great. You probably can continue to do it however you're doing it. But if you're somebody with neck and headache issues, doing a lot of holding like that is going to aggravate your neck. Having either a counter height or it is going to be something that's going to work a little bit better. Something where you're not having to hold the weight of the clothes while you fold it. And you can use a lot of times your washer dryer as your counter surface if you need to. Kitchen countertops can work. A lot of times we do things on our laps. We kind of take whatever surfaces we have available. So think about what options you have in your house and what might be a better place for you. Something that's going to work easier height-wise. So then that way I'm doing everything here, not having to hold, move, and do big arm movements. Blankets. Blankets are a huge issue for people. One, they can be heavy. And two, you end up having to do big stretching motions and trying to do big movements and hold them up and move them together. That is a problem. And so a couple of things. One, be careful that you're not trying to work over your head, because if you're trying to hold and manipulate things up here and you have shoulder and neck problems, that's not going to end well. You know, you can build up your strength to be able to do that, but you got to be able to stabilize and control and hold that weight out in front of you. And that's actually a fairly difficult skill. So a couple of options you have. One, you can use the floor. Now, if your floor isn't clean and you don't want to fold on your floor, think about using your bed. Think about using the couch, some sort of elevated surface, so that basically you can lay it out and then be able to fold it on itself. So rather than having to try and hold and move, you know, let another surface actually help you, where you can then squat down, move it, and fold things more easily without having to do all that weight manipulation. So take a look at your surface and just think about doing it smarter. Extra steps a lot of times don't actually increase the amount of time it takes to do something. It's just getting in that habit of what do I need to do next. And once that becomes your normal routine, it's actually fairly quick.